Welcome to the program, Michio Kaku. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, glad to be on.
The future of the mind. This is, I think, a subject which is so difficult for us to comprehend. And you find yourself in a feedback loop of stupidity. For me. The premise is that the mind is something that we will find downloadable to some extent.
That's right. Think of all the college courses that we flunked when we were younger, right? All the courses that we cut. We might be able to have a play button. You hit the play button and you upload mathematics. You upload calculus right into your brain. This has now been done on a small level with mice. We can actually upload memories.
Is that mouse's name Algernon by any chance? Because I know how this ends.
And eventually we're going to be doing it with primates and eventually perhaps with Alzheimer's patients. We're going to have a brain pacemaker that will allow us to upload memories into a damaged hippocampus located right here so that people that have Alzheimer's will have memory again. And so this is one of the objectives of being able to upload a memory.
That's incredible. So the idea would be, while one side of the industry focuses on maybe fixing the pathways biologically, there is a whole other science that is working at this through data.
That's right. We want to be able to decipher the thinking brain and perhaps connect the brain to a robot or a machine. Think of Stephen Hawking, my colleague. He's totally paralyzed. He has a chip in his right frame. Next time you see him on TV, look at his glasses. There's a chip there that picks up radio waves from his mind, transfers it to a laptop, and he can type. Mentally type. And you can now hook up.
This is something that is present now. That is the technology to do it now. And how does the chip in his glasses pick up a radio wave that he generates from his brain?
Because it's very close to the brain. Now, for other patients, we put it directly on the brain itself, a chip about the size of a dime, connecting that chip to a laptop, and then the person can operate a wheelchair, operate household appliances, surf the web, answer emails, even if he is totally paralyzed.
That's incredible. Is his chip not in his brain because his brain is so strong? Like it just, like if you put like the chip right on his brain, the chip would be like, "Stop yelling! I can hear you. You're so brainy."
Right.
But in terms of amounts of data, I would imagine, like, you know, we're accustomed to this idea that, oh, we've mapped the human genome. What is the amount of data that the human genome encompasses?
It's peanuts compared to the complexity of the brain. Realize that what sits on your shoulder is the most complex object in the known universe.
In terms of computing power that we have now, in terms of trying to disseminate the amount of activity and data that is flowing through the brain, where would we need to get to before that is a feasible transaction?
We would have to build a computer the size of a city block, cooled by a river, energized by a nuclear power plant to mimic the computational power of your brain, which does it for 20 watts. So when someone calls you a dim bulb, that's a compliment.
That is a compliment. 20 watts of power to power the brain. So why is that? What is the energy source then of the brain that we are unable to figure out?
Well, for most people, it's just a few hamburgers.
Really?
It'll supply the energy for the thinking brain. However, we don't know how the brain actually functions. The brain is not a computer in this normal sense of the word. There's no operating system. There's no Pentium chip. There's no Windows. There's no subroutines. It's a learning machine. It learns.
Can it exist outside of us?
Well, if President Barack Obama's brain initiative succeeds, we will have a CD-ROM. Last year, President
Barack Obama... Got a brain initiative? Can't run a website. What are you talking about? Got a brain initiative?
They want to dump $1 billion to map all the pathways of the human brain to solve the question of mental illness like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and one day they may have a CD-ROM with all your personality, all your neurons on it that will live on after you die. In other words, some form of immortality is a possibility, that consciousness may exist even outside the human body. It'd be kind of nice, right? Living forever?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of like 300 years from now, like, you know, your people, that your kids, and kids and kids of kids, like taking you out of a CD jacket. Let's hang with Grandpa for a little bit.
And your descendants will be able to have a chat with you. You know, your personality traits, your mannerisms will be there.
Is all consciousness are these data points?
Well, in some sense, in this line of approach, your personality, your quote, soul would be reduced to information. Digital information that in some sense your great-great-great-grandkids can access to have an evening conversation with you.
But don't you think there's going to be some special sauce in there that we don't know about that is more than just the functions?
Yeah, there's always the wild cards.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of a wild card. If you're hit in the left part of the brain...
And now you're just getting weird.
Certain people develop enormous mathematical powers. They become super geniuses. Now, of course, this is not the average blow to the brain. Don't go home tonight and sock yourself in the brain hoping to become a super genius.
That's smart.
But it's happened before, that these people have enormous mathematical abilities. And we think it's because the brain has lost its ability to forget. A photographic memory is not because memories die down with time or stay vigorous. We forget how to forget. The forgetting mechanism itself is disabled in these individuals. Right. So it's like a tape recorder that just keeps on taping and never erasing.
And does it run out of memory at that point, or will it continue to go?
It just continues to go. These people can remember a day 30 years ago on a Tuesday, on an afternoon, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they can tell you what book they were reading on what page.
So why would our brains then not do that all the time? Why wouldn't you want to buy the brain with the most memory?
Because eventually it trips you up. You get memory overflow. You get paralyzed with so many memories coming at you. Many of these individuals, for example, have a hard time keeping an ordinary job because they simply remember too much. We forget for a reason, believe it or not, because it's good for our survival. It's good for evolution to forget.
Yeah, that's what booze is, yeah. This stuff is incredible, and we are on the cusp of some really, truly amazing and historic things, are we not?
I think so, right. This is the golden age of brain research.
I'm very excited about this. The future of the mind. It's on the bookshelves now. Very, very fascinating. Michio Kaku, thank you so much.